There are 400 million people in the world who are considered to have an alcohol problem. Now, I started drinking when I was 14 years old, and I didn't stop until my late 20s when I was drinking at least a bottle of wine a day. Today I want to share with you how I quit alcohol for good. So, back then I would do sober October, no booze November, dry December, and all kinds of silly, forceful fixes that didn't work, because forceful fixes never work. I recently learned that a gratitude practice reduces substance cravings for up to 30%, which is useful if you're caught in the cycle of addiction, but it's still just a temporary solution. Here's what helped me quit 5-6 years ago. First, I realized that alcohol abuse was not a problem. It was the solution that I had found to a much deeper problem, because a drinking habit is like a fire alarm that rings at home. Most people try to silence it, to beat it into submission, or to cover their ears and stay away from it so that they don't hear it. But the fastest way to quiet the alarm is to figure out where the smoke is coming from and actually putting out the fire. Alcohol, like any addiction, points towards an emotional wound that we're afraid of touching, of facing. This is why it's always easier to self-medicate than it is to meditate, because one brings short-term pleasure and long-term misery, and the other one brings short-term discomfort, long-term peace, but we prioritize what's immediate very often. In my case, I realized that it was a lot of shame, anger, and childhood trauma, which were at the root of my drinking habits. So after the day that I dealt with them, I was not even able to stomach a sip of my favorite wine. So if you're struggling with addiction, but you want to move forward and heal, just remember that you must be brave enough to look into your shadows and feel